All right, welcome back to Jonathan Loves Sports Betting. Remember, I'm not telling you who to bet on. I'm telling you who I bet on. And we got week one of the CFL coming up this week. Um, with the CFL, they're obviously looking to expand viewership. You'll be able to watch almost every CFL game on their free, I said that again, free streaming software, CFL Plus. This is how I was able to stay in touch with the league as an American. And another thing that they're doing, looks like Snoop Dogg's going to perform on their version of the 7th. So that make it Saturday or Sunday Night Football? One of those. Snoop Dogg's going to perform in Vancouver, in BC, when the Lions take on the Elks. And yeah, week one's looking to be very entertaining. It's going to start off the game one, Thursday, June 5th. Celebrate the release of the Switch 2 with some Canadian football here. Ottawa's taking on Saskatchewan, and it's going to be in Saskatchewan. The record last year, Saskatchewan was the only team to win a game head-to-head. It was 1-0-1, so one win for Saskatchewan, and then they tied. Doesn't quite count out the Red Blacks here, though. The Red Blacks did have a negative point differential of 45 points, meaning that they let 45 points score more than they scored, while Saskatchewan has a differential of 44 points. The spread here is 3.5. It's favoring Saskatchewan, and yeah, it's a tough call because it's like, all right, but almost the entire public is behind Saskatchewan from all the research I did. The 2 articles we find on the CFL, these like polling for Saskatchewan, which makes Ottawa kind of a public underdog. And it's only a 3.5 point spread. So I would probably favor Saskatchewan money line here. And then the only sports book that is allowing total points right now for the CFL, as far as the American customers, is DraftKings. And I'm going to be placing a bet on Saskatchewan to score over 23.5 points as a prop. Moving on to game 2. Really love this. I am a big Toronto Argonauts fan. This is definitely on my watch list. It's Toronto versus Montreal. It's a rematch of the Eastern Final last year. And I believe the score was like 30-28. Toronto just barely squeaked it out. And then on top of that, for the final, Toronto beat the Blue Bombers in like some 20-point comeback in one of the best Grey Cups ever. And you better bet that these two teams, it's a hot ticket item. Toronto went 10-8 last year. And did I miscount that? 6-18. Montreal went 12-5-1. Interesting. So even at the bigger record, Toronto just went the underdog all the way, counting out Toronto. On paper, Montreal, it's other than their record, their points per game was 23.5, points allowed per game 22.4. Montreal went 2-0 in the preseason, but against Toronto last year, if you count the 2 games head-to-head and everything that was done, believe it was 1-3, could be 1-2. I might have that wrong, but they have a losing record against Toronto last year, so they got a bone to pick. And yeah, it's a home game. It's hard to bet on teams that I'm a fan of. That's usually a rule. But 4.5 points in the CFL is a lot, especially because with the 3 downs and everything, Toronto just bringing the dog again. I've got Toronto to score over 23.5 points, and I don't know what I'm going to do with the spread or not. I haven't decided yet, but it's kind of one of those toss-up games. Potentially Toronto to score over 23.5 and Toronto money line. I don't know. I think I'm just going to do the point total over 3.5. It seems reasonable seeing how high scoring the games were. I believe Toronto could definitely get it done and score 24. We're talking three touchdowns and a field goal here. All right, Saturday, June 7th. Looking forward to this one. Might have to miss it because of other things I got going on in the afternoon. The Hamilton Tiger Cats versus the Calgary Stampedes. And, oh boy, Calgary missed the playoffs for like the first time in 20 years. And they're on this redemption tour. Like, oh man, we missed the playoffs, dude. What's going to happen? And the Tiger Cats didn't really have a good enough showing last year. Both these teams, like, we're talking bottom barrel. We're talking like 7-11, and one of the last bottom four potentially record-wise. Both teams were 1-1 in the preseason. Calgary beat the BC Lions in the preseason, and this game is turning into a pick'em game. It's a -1, +1. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, despite being the away team, are slightly favored due to their higher record, and they have about 5 more points per game, and their defense is about the same. So this is a pick'em. I am not betting this game. I am just going to watch it as a fan and see where it goes. We got to figure out whether the Calgary Stampeders are for real or not. Last game would be Saturday, June 7th. We got the Edmonton Elks versus BC Lions and the Snoop Dogg home bump. At least that's what's being projected here. Edmonton did not, they lost a lot of close games. They had quarterback issues last year. They've made some changes in the offseason, like you would think. And BC was just barely, didn't really make it as far as they thought they would last year. So a really good opening game here for both these teams is essential. I could see if the Elks lose this game and start getting on a 2, 3, 4 game losing streak, there goes all the Edmonton hype. And here's another storyline to think of. Edmonton is in the NHL playoffs, so you know that they're going to believe the game for the playoffs is on Wednesday. So this game, the Edmonton fans are going to, go in. Let's see, what else do I have here? Both teams have a 1-1 record, and the BC Lions actually lost to Edmonton. And Edmonton did put a lot of their starters in that game against BC. So you really have a public favorite here in the BC Lions going up against a slight, underdog with the Elks. And this is just me going, fade the public, man. The Elks need to just start playing some football. So I'm taking the Elks on the spread, and I'll put like a little bit on the money line too. I think total what I'm spending, if it's $10 per game, it's going to be like $40 total wagers. So yeah, that's my hot take, and I'm looking forward to the first week of the CFL. I'm going to keep these posts coming. I'll definitely be watching the NBA playoffs. I might do some commentary on Stanley Cup, but my two main sports are basketball and football. Any football league out there. So I tend to stay pretty much to basketball and football with my bets. And like I said, it's more fun when it's just for fun. And I always be responsible with what you're betting. Always be responsible. Never chase your losses, and just keep it for fun. Don't quit your day job to be a sports bettor. But if you manage to win some money and watch a game and have fun, then that's the best way to handle this. All right, I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.